But what the wider world wants to know is, will this military operation be limited to the Donbas region, or will it spread to the rest of Ukraine as well?
Well, you say this is the moment of truth, but I have to tell you, here in the Russian capital, things feel pretty normal, pretty quiet. There are people walking along the streets, going to metro stations, on their way to work, despite the fact that their president has just made that extraordinary speech in the early hours of the morning local time here in Moscow, saying that he is launching a special military operation, that justice and truth are on the Russian side as far as he's concerned, that this is about the denazification of Ukraine, a claim he made without any evidence whatsoever. And he said that there will inevitably be clashes between Ukrainian forces and Russian forces now going into that part of eastern Ukraine. Vladimir Putin was certainly clear that there are no plans to occupy Ukraine as a whole, but as I said, he very clearly acknowledged the chance that there will be military clashes, that there will be violence between Ukrainian forces and Russian forces.
You know, even before the military combat were to begin, what we are looking at in terms of the visuals that have come in from Kiev and also from other areas like Kharkiv are, according to reports, explosions caused by missile strikes, as Russia admitted to carrying out missile strikes deep into the heart of Ukrainian territory.
The Russian military has not confirmed that they have carried out any missile strikes, but as you say, we are getting reports from right across Ukraine, different parts of the country, most significantly in Kiev, the capital, but also in the east of the country, in the south. There are reports of explosions being heard all over the country. We've also had Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, making an address on national television there, saying that he is declaring martial law across the entire country, that he has also spoken to US President Joe Biden. Just in the last few minutes, of course, the US president offering his support to the Ukrainian people. And Zelensky also had a clear message for his people, looking down the camera and saying, "I will be with you all the time, stay strong." So an emotional message there from the Ukrainian president as his country faces up to the reality of Russian boots on the ground in eastern Ukraine.
Absolutely indeed. And at this point of time, do we know at all of the objective of the Russian military? Back in 2014, it went with a very clear objective of annexing Crimea, which is what it did in a swift operation. But at this point of time, has the Russian president, clearly spelled out what he intends to do with Russian army being sent into Ukraine?
The way that Vladimir Putin in his speech is sort of excusing this, the argument that he's making is that he has recognized the independence of these two breakaway regions of eastern Ukraine, the Donetsk People's Republic so-called, and the so-called Lugansk People's Republic, and that they have asked, the leaders of those self-proclaimed republics have asked Moscow, have asked the Russian government for assistance. That is the argument that Vladimir Putin is making. And earlier in the week, we had the Russian parliament unanimously approving the ability of the Russian president to send Russian troops abroad, to send Russian troops into eastern Ukraine. We also had this wider message, as I was mentioning earlier, talking about the denazification of Ukraine. That is a message that we heard also in President Putin's speech, his address to the nation on Monday here in Moscow. And Putin is trying to put the blame on Ukraine. He is saying that Ukrainian soldiers will be blamed for bloodshed. That is an argument, of course, that the US president, for example, Joe Biden, are completely refuting. They are saying any bloodshed is the responsibility of Vladimir Putin as he launches this special military operation, as it's being called.
And also, the West has said that it will slap Russia with heavy financial sanctions. Is Vladimir Putin willing to take the pain of the financial sanctions that are coming towards the Russians?
Well, Sergei Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister, earlier in the week had talked about sanctions, and he'd effectively shrugged them off and really even mocked them. He'd said that Russia is used to being threatened with sanctions by Western countries such as the US. He said that they had been expecting exactly which sanctions would be coming down the pipeline. There has been this so-called project of Fortress Russia, this idea that Russia has been building up its cash reserves. It's been diversifying away from US dollars into gold and other currencies around the world to try and insulate its economy against Western sanctions. But now that Russian boots are going to be on the ground, if we see direct clashes between Ukrainian forces and Russian forces, there is very little doubt that even tougher sanctions are going to be coming down the pipeline from the US, the UK, from the European Union, all sorts of Western allies. Right. They've already shown some coordinated action, and there will be more to come.
Absolutely, indeed. Do continue to stay on with this, Giles Gibson.